Thank you all for being here, first and foremost. At this moment in time, Carl Hildebrand should have been reading you some poetry, but we can't find Carl. So I'm going to read you some words. I don't write poetry, but words are words, aren't they? So I'm going to read you something. I saw you first on TV. Whistle test, my brother and me. Lift off with Aisha, then Top of the Pops. Your arrival signalled the 60s had stopped. I went to see you at the Hard Rock, me and David Bowie. My hair cut and dyed in your style. A carrot top freaky child. I went to school, the headmaster called me a disgrace and a disaster, ridiculed by nasty laughter, me and David Bowie. I was not a happy kid, and as I followed what he did, I was left with no hiding place, a barrage of abuse I faced. I cut my nose to spite my face, me and David Bowie. You flew to the USA to reinvent, to Duckingfield was where I went. You stick thin on milk and cocaine, beer for me, weight was gained, both of us fucked up in pain, me and David Bowie. Next for you, Berlin with Iggy and Eno. I was night clubbing at the Mayflower and Reno. And as you were making Hero and Low, I started to get my own thing on the go. I was one of the seeds that Ziggy had sowed, me and David Bowie. The decade ended, a new you emerged, a new me too, as our paths diverged, separated, but as held you in view. A part of me was down to you, inspiring me to go and do, me and David Bowie. We live and must let go, never cling on to memories, on the wind they are gone. But from a distance I kept half an eye, your artistic renaissance, another high, and then you died. And for us, I cried, for me and David Bowie. This is another one it's a sort of true thing. It's based on some people who lived on my street, my best friends when I was a kid. It's called The Wilsons. The Wilsons were my childhood friends. We schooled and played at day's end, rough and tumble, tears and laughs, sarsaparilla, the swimming baths. The eldest Lynn first unravelled, a marriage breakdown, and the bottle plunged into homelessness, poor mental health, constant stress. Something was wrong with the Wilsons. Peering out from a rickety shed, its bare floor became her bed. No surprise when her heart stopped. Worn out, she simply dropped. Her two sons tried to carry on. They grew taller but did not grow strong. With demons they could not cope, and each one dangled from a rope. Something was wrong with the Wilsons. My old friend John, haunted and gaunt, solitary, he walked and walked, shunning anyone he'd meet. He'd forgotten how to speak. Ragged clothed, old shoes, his liver went killed by booze. Something was wrong with the Wilsons. His twin, Gillian, had flown away. She sparkled, but then she turned grey. She withered when she returned, and she too withdrew from the world, a sad spinster in decay. From the sun she hid away, inseparable from her mother. You could hardly tell one from the other. And then Eva died, and all alone, Gillian took a life her own. The caged bird at last had flown. An empty house was all that she left, its secret safeguarded by death. Something was wrong with the Wilsons. No one could help. Offers were spurned, a wall of silence. Nothing was learned. Boys and girls who'd been my best friends faced such sad and bitter ends. There was nothing we could do. No one ever had a clue of the secrets that a front door hides, what happens on the inside. All I know is the Wilsons died. Something was wrong with the Wilsons. Some evil lurked that they had feared. Now the Wilsons have disappeared. Something was wrong with the Wilsons. One more. This is not a personal one. This was inspired by a book written by Jay Carnott, who's a great author. Right. I learned to speak the St. Giles Greek. Upon the street a living eke, but the Flash Kennan Academy led me toward the three-legged tree. I was born on a workhouse bed. As mother gave birth, I gave her death, a parish orphan, a pretty boy. In books I hid to escape the noise. Teenage schooled as a sodomite, I rode the Dragon of St. George on festival night. In the chapel, I struck bargains for this body of mine. Flat society's view was I'd crossed the line. I strolled the locations only Molly's knew. Amongst the brotherhood I'd kneel at the pew. This paid for lightning and a humble crib. Trafficking truth, although I hadn't twigged. I fell into the clutches of ambitious men. They informed me I could be of service to them. To a spruce prig, gentry cove, they would natter. I would betray this idle chatter. And then I docked with a dandy as a keeping cull. In his hard heart I was Nix my doll, cast out of grace for unnatural sin. Impeached by a lover's claim, I corrupted him. Cruel fate condemned. I ruminate within the doleful walls of grim Newgate. 12 bells will ring when it comes my turn to take the fatal journey to Tyburn. Thank you very much. We'll have George soon. Cheers.